Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in.
Hello, welcome back to the pod. First off, I apologize for the less than stellar audio. I'm having some problems with my microphone connecting to my computer today, and I just wanted to get this recorded. But today I'm going to be talking to those of you out there who might have bought my movement library, or maybe you're somebody who has been trying out a list of corrective exercises with your client, but it doesn't seem to be working, and you're like, man, what is missing? What am I missing here? This doesn't seem to be working. I am talking to you. So if you can relate with this, you have a client who's dealing with some type of nagging pain, let's say knee pain or back pain, and you have been trying some specific exercises you saw on Instagram, saw on the internet, maybe you pulled them from my movement library, you've been trying them out in your program, and they don't really seem to be working. It's not really getting any better. It's been a few weeks. It's been a couple of months. You're like, man, I don't know if this is right. You feel kind of uneasy about it. I'm here to tell you that if you can relate to that, this is because you are missing something, either in your assessment process with your clients, or you're missing something when you're connecting your assessment results to an effective program, right? So it's either one of those two things. And here's the thing about corrective exercises. They are so great and they are helpful, but you have to know exactly, you have to know it's the right tool for the job, okay? So in order for them to work, you have to know that you are attacking the right problem. So let's say, let's take the first example, you're missing something in your assessment process. Something that I see so often with coaches when they're missing something in their assessment process is that they're rushing. They're rushing their clients through assessments. They're just taking a look at how their body moves, getting an idea of what it looks like when they squat, what it looks like when they hinge, okay? But you're not actually breaking it down to the flexibility and mobility of joint by joint. And here's why that's important. In order for a movement to happen, in order for a squat to be able to happen, you also have to have the flexibility and mobility to be able to get in those positions. So flexibility and mobility is the foundation for even doing a movement, okay? And when you're skipping, checking that range of motion, and you're just having them go right to squatting, you're missing those first two foundational layers to even creating a movement. So if there are holes in certain parts of the body, if there are holes in the flexibility and mobility of the ankles or the hip, of course they're going to have a hard time squatting, or of course their squat's going to look kind of weird, or they might not be feeling it in the right places. But you're not going to know that if you don't actually look at the flexibility and mobility of every joint, okay? And you might be thinking, man, that's a lot of work, Ashley. Yeah, it is more work in the beginning, but I promise you, it saves you so much freaking time and so much frustration when you do those steps first, because you actually know what, the ability of their range of motion. And it saves you time in the long run. It helps you write a more effective program. And I know that you are smart, and you know that a lot of times where somebody feels pain is not the root cause of the issue. So we're going to stick with the knee pain example. If someone has pain in their knee, it doesn't necessarily mean the problem's in the knee. We have to look at their hip and at their ankle as well. We have to look above and below the area. So if you don't have any data around what range of motion looks like above and below that area of pain, then you are going to be guessing with those corrective exercises that you are doing, okay? And so moving past the flexibility and mobility, that's like the first part of the assessment process. The next part of the assessment process that you need to have on lock is looking at their strength balance, right? And what I mean when I say strength balance is what is their strength like right to left, front to back? And we're really dividing the body up into parts so that we can see what we got going on strength-wise, because if somebody is dealing with pain and it's not a flexibility or mobility issue, 99% of the time, something's going to come up in their strength testing and you're going to be like, there it is, there it is. But if you're not doing that really broken down strength testing and you're just having them do something like, a 3-rep max deadlift or a 3-rep max back squat, that's great, but you still don't really know what their strength is like right to left broken down like that, okay? So those are some holes in the assessment process that I tend to see. And then the other possibility I was talking about is maybe you are doing that in-depth assessment process, but you're not quite able to connect the dots from what you find in the assessment to writing an effective program, okay? So you really got to have both, you guys. Having a thorough assessment process is great, but if you don't know exactly what to do with those results and how to make an effective program out of it to get the client results, it's not going to work, right? The assessments are actually useless if you don't know how to properly use them. So that's the other piece of the puzzle. And this is where I see so many programs and certifications go wrong, because they give you this knowledge around what to do, but they don't actually help you connect the dots on like how to make a good program. And it is very alarming the amount of coaches programs that I look at that are actually not effective. I ask them, what made you program this? What made you do this pairing? Why do you have, these exercises in? Like, what are you trying to do? And the amount of times that people say, I don't know, I don't really have a reason for that, it is alarming. And you guys, that's the problem. Like, we can do so much better. You should have a specific reason behind every single program or behind every single exercise in your client's programming, even down to the warm-up. Being specific with your warm-up matters too. And so if you are dealing with this issue of like, I've been trying this exercise with this client for the knee pain and it's not working, I'm going to ask you, what does their assessment look like? Why did you add that into their program? Like, what are you trying to do? There's probably a disconnect somewhere. And this isn't to make you feel bad, but because certifications suck at teaching you this, right? Like, they don't help you enough. You actually need a mentor to help you develop these skills a little bit better, right? You need a live person to help you troubleshoot, do practice case studies, have another eye on what you're doing and to ask you these questions. So it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to be better and get some help so that you can serve your clients better and get them better results. Because when you get them better results and the client feels better while doing it, they are going to stay around longer. You are going to retain your clients longer if you have these more advanced skills that not a lot of people have. So this is why I created Programming Through Pain. It's a 12-week group program, and I am helping you develop these skills, and I am teaching you in a hands-on way that makes sense to the work that you're doing with clients. The things that you learn, you're going to be able to apply immediately. I'm not sitting you in front of modules. I'm live teaching you. We're working through case studies together, and I'm really focused on making this digestible and applicable to the work that you do day in and day out with your clients. So if you are listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds exactly like what I need some help in this area, I want you to send me a message and let's have a conversation. Or you can go to the link in the show notes and look at the landing page for Programming Through Pain. All right. Cohort 2 starts February 6th. All right. It is in a little over 2 weeks at this point. So the next cohort will be kicking off February 6th. We have a weekly live call. You have Slack access to me Tuesday through Thursdays to ask questions about what we're learning, to get help with your clients. And so if you have more questions, send me a DM on Instagram. My handle is in the link in the show notes. You can look at the landing page, but we are in pre-sale until January 31st. Pre-sale is when you're going to get the absolute best price of the program. And if you are somebody who bought my movement library, you get a $99 credit towards the program. Hello, it's a no-brainer. So if that is you, send me a message. I will get you set up. And also, if you are on my email list, you have a even more special pre-sale price. So if you need the links for that and you're on my email list, send me a message. Alrighty, guys. I will talk to you soon. And that's all for now.